This is a dress we are going to be making today, everyone, and you're welcome back to my channel. So my name is Mercy and this is Mercy Posh Stitches. So if you're coming across my channel for the first time, you're highly welcome, and if you're a returning subscriber, I really appreciate. So this is a short boo dress with Asoke, and you can see it's very classy, very um is full of luxury and so beautiful. So I made two of this dress. One is longer and one is shorter, and as you can see, it's so cute. So I want you to stay tuned to the end of this tutorial. Watch this to the end so that you can be able to recreate this for yourself or for your clients. Okay, so you can see the second one. It looks as beautiful as the first one, and this dress is a trendy dress. So I saw this dress on Pinterest and I loved it. I decided to recreate it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to do now is to show you the fabric I am going to be working with. Okay, so to make this, you'll be needing like two measures of Ashoke. You know, Ashoke is not measured in yard, it's measured in length. It has its own length already. So you'll be needing like five of that length, depending on your size and the length of your dress. So this is the Ashoke that I have, as you can see, and I also have my fabric. So to make this, depending on the length, you'll be needing 2 to 3 yards of fabric. Okay, so without wasting time, I'm going to set my Ashoke aside and I'm going to be working on the main fabric. Okay, so what I'm going to do is to get my fabric folded into four. Okay, so I went on to fold my fabric into four, as you can see here, and you can see that this upper part is the part that is closed. You can see it, and it's not going to be having joining on the shoulder. Okay, that's just my personal preference. So if you want yours to have joining on the shoulder, you can go ahead and do that. So what I'm going to do now is to measure from my shoulder to the length I am working with. Okay, so I'm going to measure and mark the desired length. Please, while marking this length, remember that Ashoke will be attached on the hem of the dress. Okay, it's going to have Ashoke attached to it. Okay, so have that in mind while measuring your length. You can subtract the inches of the Ashoke from your full length while marking. Do you understand? So I was done marking the length downwards, and the next thing I'm going to do is to measure my shoulder divided by 2. Okay, so remember it's a cut together, right? So I'm going to measure my shoulder divided by 2 and I'll mark it. So I'm going to place my tape there and mark my sleeve length. Okay, so my sleeve length is about 16.5 inches. So I'm going to bring the Ashoke and we're going to measure the Ashoke because we're going to be attaching the Ashoke on the length, and the Ashoke is 6 inches, 6 inches wide. So having that in mind, I'm going to be measuring about 10.5 inches. So note that, like I said, my um length is 16 inches and Ashoke is 6 inches. So I subtracted that 6 inches from um 16 inches, 16.5, and I have 10.5 left. That's what I did. So measuring downward, I subtracted 1 inch from what I have from the beginning of the folded part and I marked. Okay, then I also went down to mark again. Then going down towards the hem, I subtracted about 1.5 inches. So as I go down, I add inch half an inch to what I am subtracting. Okay, so I measured together the shoulder measurement divided by 2 plus the sleeve. I measured it together, all of them together, joined together, and I had about 18 points 20 something inches. So that 20 something inches what I marked downwards, subtracted 1 inch as I go down, and also 1.5 inch towards the hem. So here I am marking my back neckline, which is 2 inches. The depth of the neckline is 2 inches for the back. Then I'm marking 7 inches for the front. Okay, take note of that. 2 inches for back neckline and 7 inches for the front neckline. And the wideness of my neckline, that is the neck width, is 3 inches. that is neck width, then neck depth for the back 2 inches, neck depth for the front 7 inches, and I proceeded to connect all the necklines like this. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to do now is to, starting from where my front neckline ended, I'm going to measuring 2 inches. Now remember that the Asoke is 6 inches as has been established. When you divide it into two, you will have 3 inches, right? And we are going to be fixing this Asoke on the center front. Okay, so have 3 inches now. So I am going to be measuring and be marking 2 inches. Now the 1 inch remaining will serve as allowance for the shortage I will have on the main fabric, that is joining allowance shortage, and that of Asoke. So both of them half will make up the 1 inches. So that's why I'm marking 2 inches here. So these 2 inches from that plus that 1 inch allowance to make up the 3 inches we have on Asoke, because the Asoke is going to be folded into two when we are joining. I hope you get that. So I'm going to marking the 2 inches all the way down, and I'm going to connect from this neckline to it like this into a straight line. Okay, so mind is not, it's not going to be straight because the wideness of the neckline is 3 inches wide, the down is 2 inches that I'm marking. So but that is the style. Okay, so sorry for that noise. So I'm connecting right all the way down, as you can see, and once I was done connecting, I am going to cut it out. So you can see the line, right? So that one we won't be making use of it, but we'll still need it. Okay, so the line, the first neckline, that is the first front neckline, is still important. So I'm going to cut, and I am going to be cutting the back neckline. Please take note of that. I'll cut the back neckline, and I'm going to notch the shoulder. Okay, so here is the shoulder. Remember, the shoulder won't be having joining, so we need to notch it so as to remember, okay, or not have mistake. Okay, so I went on to notch the two shoulders, and I will go on and cut the rest of the fabric. So I'm going to notch this, sorry, mark on this center front. I'm going to mark on it like this. Then I'm also going to get the center back and mark on it as well. Okay, this will help for us to remember that that particular part is the center front and center back, because remember it doesn't have shoulder joining. So having done that, I'm going to open it up like this. As you can see, I'm going to open it up. So take note of the way I'm opening it up. You can see these places I notch are the shoulder, right? Then this place becomes the center front, remember. So I'm going to hold it like this on the center front and fold it. Okay, so that is what I'm doing. I want you to really pay attention to this, especially if you're not really conversant with boo. So you can see the center front, center back, and the center front, and here is the notched shoulder line. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, after arranging, I'm going to pick up and cut out, pick up my scissors and cut out this side. Okay, so I'll proceed to cut out all the way to the hem. Okay, so I'm going to set this one aside, and remember we're still going to be needing this line to this here. Okay, so I'm going to measure from here all the way to the down of the center front. So I'm going to place my tape this way, and I'll go on and measure all the way down to the hem of the center front, and whatever I get I am going to show you. Okay, so this is what I have. I have 39.5 inches to it. So I'm going to keep this aside, and I'm going to bring in our Asoke. So remember, the fabric is into two, so that implies I'm going to fold as in get two lines of Asoke for this. Okay, so you see I have two. Okay, so I'm going to measuring what I have. Remember I had 39.5, so I added about 1 inch extra in case. Okay, so I have 40.5 here. Okay, so that is 1 inch extra just in case there may be shortage, or to avoid shortage anyway. So I brought back this one, and I'm going to measure from this shoulder here, then to get our 7 inches, remember. So what I'm going to do now is to open up the center front again, and I am going to go on to measure that same 7 inches and mark on it. Okay, so you can see that's what I want to do as I'm arranging this fabric here. So I'm going to place my tape here, measure down 7 inches and mark on that point. So you see where I'm marking, I mark there. Then I'm going to measure from the center back all the way to that 7 inches I just marked. Okay, so I'll measure like this, then to that 7 inches that I just mark. So what I have is around 11.5. So please, this 11.5, ensure that when you sew on this 11.5, you're going to be able to enter your neck, because I won't be putting zipper. The one on the thumbnail has zipper, the initial one, the one I'm recreating. So I measured that 11.5, as you can see, from the side of the Asoke that is not folded. So make sure of the part that will be the right side, then you're going to sew on the wrong side. Okay, so I'm going to measure to get the center of this Asoke, that is the midpoint. I'm going to be marking on the midpoint, starting from that where I marked that 11.5 inches all the way down to the Asoke, and I'm going to take it to my machine to sew on this center line that I'm marking right now. I'm going to make a straight stitch down from this center line. So remember, the upper part of the Asoke is closed, like it's not pieces at the upper part. So if you like, you leave your opening a little opening, and that is where I mark in case you are leaving a little opening. So I went to my machine and I sewed it, as you can see, and I'm going to open it up this way. So like as I was saying, remember that you need to make sure it will pass through the head of your client, or your head if you're making it for yourself. So you see this hole here, you're going to ensure that it passes your head, especially if you're not putting zipper on this center front, on the center front of the Asoke, on this Asoke, okay? Because the style inspiration, that is the one you saw on the thumbnail, it has zipper, but I didn't want to put zipper on mine. So what I'm going to do now is to pick up my main fabric, and I am going to join it. So I am going to mark or notch the midpoint of this Asoke. Okay, midpoint here. See where I'm holding this side that is not slitted open. I am going to notch there like this. Okay, so after notching, I'm going to match up this place with the center back. Okay, so here is the center back. Okay, remember the chalk I made, the chalk marking I made there. So I am going to match it up, and at this point you need your pins, please. So I'm stretching my hand to grab my pins, and I'm going to be pinning it. So after pinning it all the way, I'm going to join all the way around. Okay, so you can decide to pin it properly before you join. Okay, which is the best advice, as in the best thing to do. So I will go over the machine, then I will pin it. I'll also join and bring it back. So I was done joining, and this is what it looked like. This is what I have. So ensure that your client's head will be able to pass this opening, okay, because no zipper, no button. Okay, so this is what I have, as you can see. So the next thing we are going to do right now is to measure what we have on the sleeve side. So I'm going to take the measurement of what I have, and whatever I have, I'm going to use it to cut my Asoke. And remember, it's into 2, so you need whatever number you get multiplied by 2. Whatever that gives you, that is what you're going to be using to cut. So I went on to cut and I joined. Okay, so can you see? So I went on to join the Asoke with the fabric, as you can see here. Then there will be need to top stitch, but before we do that, we are going to join the Asoke on the down before we top stitch. So please, the mistake I made here was that I was supposed to join the down part of the Asoke before joining any of the Asoke, both the one on the center front and the one on the sleeve side, that is the side. So please, at this point now, I have to lose part of the center front to trim off some of the fabric so that it doesn't become too long, because I don't want the dress to be too long. So I'm going to lose up to, from beginning to up to this point, and trim off the fabric on both sides. But remember, I'm not trimming off the Asoke on the center front and on the side. So please, when you're cutting yours, ensure that you subtract the allowance for the Asoke to avoid trimming off the fabric at the long run. So what I'm going to do now is that I'm going to get my fabric, and I'm going to join it, my Asoke, sorry, and I'm going to join it to this fabric like this. So I will join it and turn it like this, and also to the Asoke, and I'll bring it back for you to see. So basically, I am joining the down part of the Asoke, because if you look at the style and the thumbnail, you see that it has Asoke on the down part. So I'll do it on all the side and the back as well, and I'll show you what I have. So this is it. I was done joining it, as you can see, and I went on to neatly stop stitch, and this is what we have. Okay, so you can see I joined the back part as well. Okay, so this is the beautiful look, and I also went on to neatly top stitch the side. So it's now time for me to measure where I'll be putting my pocket. So I'm going to be coming down 1 inch below my half length. Okay, that is from shoulder to the waist. You're going to mark it, then add extra 1 inch to it. So that is what I did. I came down by 1 inch, and that is where I'm going to be attaching my Asoke. Then from the Asoke center front, I am going to, from the Asoke on the center front, I'm going to mark in 2.5 inches. Okay, so the pocket will be starting 2.5 inches away from the Asoke on the front part. So I'll mark it. Then remember, the wideness of our Asoke is just 6 inches. So this is it. I cut out these two Asoke, and that's what I'm going to be using for the pocket. So remember, our Asoke is 6 inches by wide, and I cut about 10 inches. So what I'm going to do is to join one side. I'm going to hem one side with 1 inch. Okay, half. This is going to be the upper part of the pocket, and I'm going to hem the down with 1 inch again, and at the end I'll be left with maybe 8.5 inches or 8 inches. So you can decide to join with half inch so that you can have 9 inches. It all depends on how long you want your pocket to be, but the wideness remains the same because of the size of the Asoke. So I'll go on and join, and I'm going to bring it back for you to see. So what I'm doing now before I join is to make the same marking on this other side, and after making the same marking, I'm going to pin it down. Okay, so it's very important to make generous use of your pin. So this pocket, I'm going to pin it down first. That is after hemming the up and down. I'll pin it down and show you. So here are the pins I use to secure it. So it's very important you secure with your pin, so that when you get to your machine, you're just going to stitch on top of it. Okay, so I'll go on and stitch around like this, except leaving the upper part where my hand will pass through, and I'll bring it back for us to see what we have. So I was done stitching, and I went on to also iron it, and you can see this is what I have. At this point you can see how the dress is looking already. It's looking so cute, as you can see. And next thing we're going to do is to join it. So I'm going to measure my bust measurement divided by 2. Now remember, this is boo boo dress, and that means that it's not going to be very fitted. It's not going to give you that body hug fitting like a regular clothing or normal dress that will have fitting because it has zipper or button. So I went on to divide my shoulder by my bust circumference by 2, and adding extra 2 inches to it for ease. Then did the same thing on my waist, then on the hip as well. Then I'm going to sew on it, and I'm going to stop the sewing just before the asoke. So I will do that on the other side as well. Remember, at this point the measurement is divided by 2, not by 4. Okay, because the fabric is by 4 now, just the front and the back, right? So I am going to measuring it and be marking it. Like I said, you're not just going to use your exact measurement, add some inches for ease, so that you can be able to remove it and wear, since it doesn't have zipper or button. Okay, so here is it, and I'm going to come down from the shoulder by 10 inches, and so that my hand be able to pass through. That is where I'm going to start the sewing. Remember, from the shoulder I measured down 10 inches and marked, and that is where the sewing is going to start. So the sewing is happening on the outside, exactly on the outside, not on the inside. That's why it's looking like butterfly. So I will go ahead and sew it, and I'll bring it back for us to see. So I hope you are seeing the chalk. So I went on to sew. You can see the line of the stitch here, though it's not really visible because it's exactly the matching thread, so you won't really see it that visible, but it can see it from the evidence as I am opening the fabric. So after that I went on to hem it down, and I'm going to go on to overlock the inside so that it looks very neat. And that's the end of this tutorial. So I also have a surprise for you at the end, and this is it. You can see that I decided to pair it with a skirt, so you can pair it with a pants trouser if you wish. You can wear it as a short dress, pair it with skirt or pants trouser. So thank you so much for watching. Please let me know if you learn anything from this tutorial. Let me know what you think, and drop a comment for me. A thank you comment will go a long way. Thank you so much. You can see the second one as well. I love this so much. So tell me, what do you think? Do you like the short dress, the initial one, wearing it as a short dress, or pairing it with skirts or pant trouser? Let me know in the comment section.